The day Ethan decided to be with my best friend, everyone was talking behind my back. He grabbed my chin, as if trying to make me believe something. "If you could just say you're sorry, I'd be willing to let go of the past and start anew with you." I said I was wrong as he suggested, but he just looked at me with a mocking gaze and coldly said, "Olivia, you really are cheap." As soon as he finished speaking, laughter erupted from the private room. Everyone realized that Miss Olivia can also admit her mistakes. "Remember when Ethan liked you so much, yet you were with his good friend? Why didn't you think there was a problem back then? Could it be that you think now that Ethan has money, you can go back to him? Olivia, this is really hard to accept." A chill rose from my feet. Under the flickering lights, I stared intently at Ethan's face. His face was filled with disdain and amusement, and he was even enjoying his friend's ridicule of me. I lowered my head and said with a bitter smile, "Yeah, I am that cheap, Ethan. Are you satisfied now?" But Ethan looked indifferent, staring coldly at me. In this tense situation, Sophia walked over. She tugged at Ethan's shirt and gently said, "Ethan, that's enough. Don't make Olivia uncomfortable anymore." Ethan held her hand and affectionately gave it a gentle squeeze. Turning to me, he said, "We are out of vegetables and oil at home. Go buy some, and also fill the bathtub with hot water so Sophia can take a bath when she gets back." Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly remembered something and said in a cold tone, "While we're gone, you can't sleep. You need to be ready for my instructions. Remember that." There was a hint of warning in that "remember that." I walked out of the private room listlessly, wandering aimlessly on the street. Memories from the past surged up like a tide. Ethan and I had been in love for 3 years, and we promised to get married as soon as we graduated from college. Just before graduation, I broke up with him and got together with his wealthy brother. It was pouring rain that day, and Ethan was soaked, begging to see me in front of the villa. He pleaded with me not to give up on him, promising to work hard to give me the life I dreamed of. He begged me for a long time, like a little puppy wagging its tail. But I didn't soften my heart. I even coldly said we were just playing around. I saw Ethan's face turn pale, his whole body trembling, and in the end, I had the security throw him out onto the street. That night, Ethan had a severe fever and almost had an accident. He kept calling me, wanting me to go see him, but I kept hanging up, even blocked him. After graduation, I went abroad with his good friend. I remember that day. Ethan wasn't feeling well and chased after me for a long time, but I never looked back. Later, he became a business tycoon, while I fell to the point of working as a waitress at a club. He found out my mom had brain cancer and knew I couldn't afford the expensive medical bills. So, he had me sign a contract, binding me to him as his caretaker, to look after him and other women. I slowly became numb, moving from initial sadness and pain. That day, Ethan brought my best friend Sophia back. As usual, he gave me some money. Sophia loves taking baths, often buying fresh rose petals to put in hot water and enjoy. I looked at Sophia in surprise. Her face turned red, her lips slightly biting, and her gaze was somewhat evasive. Ethan held her in his arms and shouted at me, "Are you deaf or what?" I felt a blur before my eyes and couldn't help but ask him, "Why is it Sophia of all people?" He grabbed my chin and leaned close to my ear, coldly saying, "Aren't you with my brother too?" In that moment, I realized just how much he hated me. Suddenly, a noise woke me up. I opened my eyes and groggily looked at the two overlapping figures in front of me. The woman's suppressed moans became incoherent due to the man's actions. Ethan gently kissed Sophia's forehead and whispered sweet words. "Sophia, you are so beautiful." In the next moment, he seemed to notice me and teased, "So you have a habit of sneaking a look, huh? If I had known, I wouldn't have let you go out." Sophia shouted, quickly hiding in Ethan's embrace, nervously saying, "Olivia, why didn't you say anything when you woke up?" "Ethan, hurry and take her inside." Ethan smiled and gently ruffled her hair. When he saw I didn't respond, he frowned and lightly pushed me. "Sophia wants you to hurry and come inside. Can't you hear? Is your leg still injured? So this isn't a dream." After I finished shopping and came back, I sat on the sofa waiting for Ethan and unknowingly fell asleep. I stood up, enduring my numb legs, and walked into the bedroom. Sounds from the living room occasionally drifted in. I don't know how long it had been, but the bedroom door opened, and Ethan was shirtless, his voice sounding a bit hoarse. "Go take care of Sophia." This time I didn't move. Ethan frowned and coldly said, "Olivia, don't make me say it again." I took a deep breath and looked straight into his eyes. "Ethan, please let me off the hook. You're going to marry Sophia, you should live well with her. Ethan's expression was not good, and he coldly snorted. You said you would let me go. Did you ever let me go back then? What's wrong? Can't you handle it so soon? Then after I marry Sophia and the baby is born, I want you to help take care of her during the confinement period. What will you do then? My vision blurred, and Ethan roughly wiped away the tears from the corners of my eyes. What's the use of crying? Olivia, you hurt my feelings the most. For you, I would even risk my life. Why are you in such a hurry now? If you want your mom to get better, just be obedient and don't make me angry. In the bathroom, I helplessly scrubbed Sophia's back. We didn't speak until the end, when she broke the silence first. Olivia, do you think I'm in the wrong? I was taken aback for a moment, then shook my head. She smiled and then said, can you promise to never let Ethan know the truth? I'm pregnant and want to give the child a warm home. I stared blankly at her belly. Sophia knows best about my breakup with Ethan. At that time, my family suddenly went bankrupt. My dad couldn't handle the blow and chose an extreme way out, and my mom was left devastated. I found many threatening letters on my dad's phone, which made me realize that our family's bankruptcy wasn't a coincidence, but something deliberately caused by someone. To uncover the truth, I chose to report it to the police. But just after leaving the police station, I almost got hit by a car. At that moment, I realized I had become a target too. Not long after, I received a threat letter, and even Ethan got involved. That's why I broke up with him. Ethan had a high fever that day, and I took him to the hospital, taking care of him all night until his fever broke. After that, I called Sophia, asking her to help me take care of Ethan and to keep it a secret. I never expected things would develop into what they are now. Sophia is pregnant, and Ethan has decided to marry her. It seems like everyone is happy about this. However, there's no need to bring up things that were never said before. I nodded, feeling a bit dry in my throat. Okay, I will keep it a secret. Sophia immediately smiled happily, hugged me, and acted cute. I knew Olivia was the best. Then can you do me a favor and make Ethan give up completely? Her smile turned a bit sinister. I hadn't reacted when Sophia grabbed my hand, and her body suddenly sank into the water, struggling and shouting desperately. When Ethan rushed in, he saw me pushing Sophia into the water. Olivia, how could you do this? His face was not good, and he immediately pulled Sophia up from the water. Sophia clutched her stomach, groaning in pain. Ethan, don't blame Olivia. She didn't mean to. Ethan shot me a cold glare and hurriedly left with Sophia. I collapsed on the ground, still feeling shaken inside. Later, Ethan angrily kicked open my bedroom door and yanked me up from the bed. Olivia, do you know you almost caused my child to be in danger? How could you be so heartless? He grabbed my neck, his face looking terrible, filled with resentment. He really wanted my life. My face felt hot, and I could hardly breathe. Just as I was about to suffocate, Ethan finally let go of me. He looked down at me, seeing me cough helplessly, and coldly said, Sophia is pregnant, and the wedding must be arranged for the first day of next month. You are her best friend, and you have to arrange everything for the wedding. She wants you to be her bridesmaid. I lowered my head, not even feeling the pain as my nails dug into my skin. Ethan didn't wait for my response. He clenched his fists and said, his voice choked, that if you had any difficulties back then, I interrupted him directly. Ethan kept nodding, gritting his teeth, clearly very dissatisfied. All right, if that's not the case, then stop acting like you've been wronged and quickly focus on preparing my and Sophia's wedding. After saying that, he turned around and left without hesitation. The door slammed shut. I shivered, and when I looked up, my face was already wet with tears. With a ding, my phone rang. I opened it to find a message from Ethan's good friend, Liam. Olivia, I heard Ethan is planning to marry Sophia. Do you need my help this time? When I decided to break up with Ethan, I had no intention of leaving any room for us. I know how much he loves me. If I don't let him completely let go, he will never give up. When I was in trouble, Liam found me and offered to help me put on a show. He said that Ethan would only completely lose his mind and let go of his thoughts about me after experiencing the double betrayal of his brother and girlfriend. He was right. I did hurt Ethan a lot back then. Later, I returned to my home country, but Liam did not come back with me. I didn't tell him about everything that happened that year. Now that he suddenly messaged me, he must have heard about Ethan's wedding. I took a deep breath and replied, I need it. thank you. I sent Liam my mom's hospitalization information and asked him to take her away on the day of Ethan's wedding. That day, Ethan would definitely be very busy, so it would be easier to take my mom away. I would also be leaving that day. Sophia stayed in the hospital for 2 days. During this time, Ethan was always by her side and never left. I was the one who brought her meals. After the meal, Ethan carefully helped her wipe her mouth. Sophia shyly patted his hand. Is Olivia still here? Ethan withdrew his hand without showing any emotion and then started to focus on his work. I was organizing the remaining things. Sophia smiled at me and said, Olivia, you've really worked hard during this time. Not only do you have to take care of me, but you're also busy with the wedding. Actually, Ethan is really too eager. It's fine to hold it a little later. Ethan jokingly said, it's only been a little over a month. It's nothing. When the time comes and your belly is big, you'll have a hard time. Since reuniting with Ethan, I rarely see him smile. Now he really looks happy. After all, he has always loved children. I remember when we were together before, he was really looking forward to having kids, preferably a son and a daughter. He said children are the crystallization of our love, and we would care for them like tending to flowers as they grow. The hopes of the past can no longer be realized. After leaving the hospital room, I went to see my mom. She was sleeping deeply, and her face looked a bit thinner. Since Dad passed away, her mental state hasn't been good, and creditors often come to our house to make trouble. The other party hides in the dark while we are in the light, so I decided to take her abroad to hide for a while. 5 years have passed. Although the murderer has still not been found, my mom has developed brain cancer. The door suddenly made a sound, and I quickly wiped away the tears on my face. Ethan came in, saw my red eyes, and frowned. Did you cry? Before I could answer, he let out a gentle sigh. From now on, you are not allowed to see your mother without my consent. I widened my eyes, looking up at him in disbelief, wondering why he would say that. Ethan sneered slightly, as if he could see my confusion. He said, I'm the one paying for your mother's medical expenses. I withdrew my gaze and quickly stopped focusing on that topic. Ethan has pretty strict requirements for the wedding. The venue, rings, and wedding dress have all been changed several times. When the final version was confirmed, I suddenly felt it was a bit familiar. Seeing the chosen wedding dress, I finally realized what was going on. These were all scenes I had described to Ethan before, all from my dream wedding. That wedding dress was the one I had instantly fallen in love with when we visited the bridal shop together in college. I pointed at that wedding dress and said to Ethan with longing, when we get married, I want to wear this one. It's beautiful and elegant, though it is a bit pricey. Ethan affectionately agreed, saying no matter how expensive, he would earn money to buy it for you. He wasn't lying. He really bought that wedding dress. But now, it no longer belongs to me. The wedding dress looked particularly fitting on Sophia. She excitedly looked at herself in the mirror, showing me her joy. I could only manage a forced smile. Then she handed me a floral shirt, smiling as she said, Olivia, wear this at the wedding. Many bridesmaids have been wearing these to dance at weddings lately. I noticed that unsettling look in her eyes. Ethan was staring at me with a cold gaze. Just wear it when I tell you to. Why are you hesitating? I nodded in agreement, but felt a bit uncomfortable inside. Ethan chuckled softly, leaning close to my ear and whispering, Are you feeling uneasy? If you hadn't left me back then, this wedding dress would have been yours. His words were like a thorn, deeply piercing my heart, making it hard to forget, leaving only a sour feeling inside. Finally, the day of the wedding arrived. In the makeup room, Sophia ordered me a cup of my favorite milk tea. She held my hand, just like when we used to make up after an argument. Olivia, do you remember? Whenever we had a fight, no matter how serious, we could always reconcile with a cup of milk tea. I don't want to reminisce about the past. I said, Sophia, do we really need to go back to it? Sophia's eyes were a bit teary, and she looked very dejected. I knew long ago that you wouldn't forgive me. Today should have been my happiest day, but I'm destined to be unhappy. Olivia, you might not know how heartbroken Ethan was after you left. He missed you so much that he was almost going crazy, numbing himself with alcohol. During that time, he went to the hospital many times. If I hadn't been there for him, he might not have made it. Olivia, I do like Ethan, but I also care about our friendship. Can you understand me? I've been with Ethan all these years, taking care of him. How can you just come back and want to take him away? Her eyes were red as she questioned me. I sighed and said, Don't worry, I won't compete with you for Ethan, and I won't show up in front of you two again. Sophia didn't believe me, so I helplessly took a sip of milk tea. She finally smiled, wiping away the tears on her face. Now, I can really feel at ease. As soon as I finished speaking, a few men suddenly entered the dressing room. I frowned, not quite understanding, then I felt my whole body heat up and my strength gave way. I incredulously stared at Sophia. Her smile had become somewhat strange. Olivia, 5 years ago, I also thought you wouldn't come back, but you did. Although I want to be friends with you, I don't want my husband to always be thinking about other women. I'm sorry. If you want to blame someone, blame me. The host's voice sounded, and Sophia walked out of the dressing room without hesitation. The moment the door closed, several people rushed towards me like demons. I bit my lip, using the pain to keep myself awake. A hand touched my face, and I immediately grabbed that hand and bit down hard. The person let out a sharp scream, but I still held on tightly, not letting go. The other party tried to break free, raising their hand to hit me. Someone blocked him. Miss Sophia said not to hit her face. That person was still not satisfied and kicked me a few times, then spat at me. This girl really doesn't understand. She clearly means well but doesn't appreciate it. I collapsed on the ground like a pile of mud, with my phone ringing non-stop. I tried hard to reach for the phone on the makeup table, but as soon as I crawled over, I was dragged back. I screamed desperately, "Let me go, Ethan won't let you get away with this." Before I finished speaking, that man burst into laughter. "Ethan is busy getting married and doesn't have time for you. Stop struggling, just cooperate with us and you'll suffer less." "I'm sorry, I can't fulfill that request." Suddenly, the door to the makeup room swung open with a bang. I felt a weight lift off me, and then a suit jacket was draped over my shoulders, followed by someone picking me up. Ethan's face was very grim, and the atmosphere around us instantly became tense. He shouted loudly, "Get out now." As soon as he finished speaking, those frightened men hurriedly fled. Once the door to the makeup room was closed, Ethan pushed me to the makeup table. He held my chin, and there was a hint of coldness in his gaze. "Olivia, can't you live without a man? Is this something that you care about deeply?" The pain in my chin brought me back to reality a bit. I pushed him away, remembering that he was Ethan, someone else's husband. "Get away from me. I don't need you." Ethan clenched his jaw and gave a cold smile. "You don't like me? Then who do you like? The guys from earlier?" "Olivia, how could you be like this?" "Yeah, that's just how I am." "Is this the first time you're realizing it?" "Ethan, don't forget that you're already married." I felt a bit of heat in my eyes. My whole body was warm. Yet Ethan was cool to the touch, making me want to get closer to him. He held my waist, and there was a lot of meaning in his gaze. "So what if I'm married? You are still my old love, and I would be willing to help you." "Olivia, even though I'm married, you must always stay by my side." After saying that, he leaned in to kiss me. There was a knocking sound at the door, along with Sophia's cries. "Ethan, come out, Ethan, we already have a child. You can't abandon me, Ethan." I immediately woke up. I pushed Ethan hard, and he tripped over the chair and fell heavily to the ground. He complained as he said something. I hurriedly put on my suit jacket and rushed out of the dressing room. As soon as I opened the door, I bumped into someone. Then, a tense voice came from above. "Olivia, are you okay?" "It's Liam." "Liam, take me away quickly. I don't feel well." Liam quickly picked me up and hurried away. Watching my figure gradually fade away, Ethan's eyes instantly welled up, and he shouted sternly, "Olivia, come back." He pushed Sophia, who was tightly holding on to him, and stared intently at the dressing room door, repeatedly calling out for Olivia. Sophia closed her eyes, tears flowing uncontrollably. "Ethan, do you remember Olivia? Today is our wedding day. Feel it, our child is already over a month old. Come on. Touch him, Ethan." Ethan withdrew his hand and said indifferently, "Don't come near." Sophia shook her head and cried, tightly hugging his neck. Ethan became a bit angry, grabbed her hand, and shouted, "Let go. I only want Olivia. Stop clinging to me." Sophia was pushed to the ground, looking at Ethan in shock. As Ethan was about to leave, she cried and hugged his leg. "Ethan, the one who has been by your side all these years is me, not Olivia. Why can't you pay attention to me? You clearly promised to marry me, and you were also looking forward to this child. You can't leave. I won't let you go." Ethan sighed, rubbed his face, and after calming down, he didn't want to deceive himself anymore. Sophia, thank you for your help back then, but I have no feelings for you. I'm really sorry. I was nice to you just to make Olivia angry. I will give you a sum of money so you can have a good life in the future. Consider this marriage as if it never happened, and as for the child, just deal with it. Sophia felt a great shock, and by the time she understood the meaning of Ethan's words, Ethan's figure was already nowhere to be seen. She let out a painful scream, a hint of resentment flashing in her eyes. After leaving the wedding venue, Liam wanted to take me to the hospital, but I shook my head and refused. Let's go straight to the airport. I can handle it. I could feel the effects of the medication slowly wearing off, and if I went to the hospital now, it would be like walking into a trap. Ethan would definitely not let me go. Once at the airport, with Liam's help, I walked to the waiting area, but I didn't see my mom, and I couldn't help but frown. I asked, "Where's my mom?" Liam poured me a glass of water and said that being too obvious would raise Ethan's suspicions, so he had a friend take my aunt away first. I breathed a sigh of relief. The cold water made me feel much better. I didn't know why, but I still felt nervous inside. Ethan's request echoed in my ears, just like 5 years ago. This time, I didn't look back at him either. In the waiting area, it was just me and Liam, and the announcement system was silent. I was a bit restless and kept pacing back and forth. Suddenly, Liam's phone rang. I couldn't help but feel a bit nervous. My heart started to tighten. After Liam answered a phone call, his expression changed to something strange. I felt that something was off, so I asked him what happened. He looked at me for a moment, cleared his throat, and said with a bit of a choked voice, "When my friend went to pick up my aunt, he found that she had already passed away." Boom! I didn't quite understand what he meant by that. What do you mean, passed away? I felt my heart trembling with anxiety. As if I needed support, I grabbed Liam's arm. What did you just say? Can you say that again? Liam saw that my eyes were red and patted my shoulder, trying to comfort me. He said, "Olivia, don't panic. Maybe my friend saw it wrong. I'll take you to the hospital right now." When I arrived at the hospital, Ethan was there too. He was sitting on a bench in the hallway, slightly hunched over, with his head down, covering his face with his hands. When he heard the sound, he looked up at me. Seeing me, a hint of panic crossed his face, and he immediately stood up to hug me. "Olivia, you finally came back. Please don't leave me." Listening to him, his voice trembled slightly, with a hint of choking. I said expressionlessly, "Let go." Ethan hesitated for a moment and also let me go. His gaze was somewhat evasive, not daring to look me in the eye. I pushed him away and ran into the hospital room. On the hospital bed, my mother lay with her eyes closed, her face pale, looking much different from when she used to sleep peacefully. I touched her hand and felt it was icy cold. I felt like my heart was being tightly gripped by something, painful enough to make it hard for me to breathe. Since my father's death, my mother became my only support. I never expected that before the murderer was found, she would leave first. I couldn't hold back anymore and cried out heartily, feeling like I would cry all my tears dry. Until I cried so hard I felt dizzy, and later woke up with my mind slowly clearing. The doctor clearly said that if my mom received active treatment, she could live for another year. I don't believe she died because of her illness. I stared blankly ahead. The door to the hospital room opened, and Ethan walked in. He held my hand, his eyes filled with concern. "Olivia, eat something." I stared at him, trying to read any unease on his face. But he didn't do that. His eyes were filled with pain. I tried to ask, "Where's my mom?" Ethan looked away, a hint of guilt on his face. After all, she had passed away under his care. Although he initially just wanted to treat her, now that she's gone, he felt very sad. "Auntie's body has been sent to the morgue. You can decide whether to cremate or bury her." I felt a warmth in my eyes, filled with questions. Finally, I said, "I want an autopsy, Ethan. I don't believe my mom died of natural causes." Though Ethan didn't understand, he still had the body examined. At the moment I received the results, I felt dizzy, my hands trembling as I held the report. My mom was truly harmed by someone else. I remembered those threatening letters from 5 years ago. Could those people have harmed my mom? At that time, Ethan was just an insignificant character. I couldn't let him know the truth. Telling him would only drag him down. But now, my mother has passed away, and if I can't find the real murderer, I will never find peace in my life. I held Ethan's hand tightly and said anxiously, Ethan, you've always wanted to know why I left you 5 years ago, right? Now I will tell you everything. As soon as I finished speaking, the door to the hospital room suddenly creaked open. Sophia walked in with a thermos, her gaze sternly fixed on the hands that Ethan and I were holding. I frowned, recalling what Sophia had done to me in the dressing room, and coldly asked her, what are you doing here? In the next moment, Sophia's expression changed from icy to concerned. Olivia, I heard you were hospitalized, so I came to see you. No one expected what happened to your aunt. Don't be too troubled. She wouldn't want you to feel sad about her, right? At this moment, Sophia is still acting like we're close sisters. I no longer want to continue this with her. Sophia, stop pretending and being insincere. You thought I would take the drug like before, just swallowing it as soon as I got it. My mother has passed away, and I have nothing left to care about. Sophia's face turned pale as she involuntarily looked at Ethan. Ethan frowned, quickly understanding, his expression turning serious as he asked, you say you were drugged, and it was Sophia who did it? Olivia! Sophia looked at me pleadingly, but now, I no longer felt the sisterly bond one once had with her. Under Ethan's gaze, I nodded. If you don't believe me, you can check the surveillance in the dressing room. Ethan's heart tightened. He had actually checked the surveillance, but found that the dressing room cameras were broken, and even the hallway ones had issues. He understood that someone had deliberately tampered with it, but he didn't expect that person to be Sophia. If she could do harm to Olivia at the wedding, wouldn't she be even more ruthless elsewhere? Ethan was extremely angry, hating both Sophia and himself for putting this trouble next to Olivia. He was the biggest culprit. Sophia was taken away by Ethan's bodyguard. She struggled desperately and shouted, hoping to soften Ethan's heart with the child in her arms. But Ethan never had feelings for her in the first place, so there was no use in trying to soften him up. I'm taking a risk, betting that he still has a little bit of affection for me. After I reveal the truth about abandoning him 5 years ago, Ethan's first reaction wasn't to mock me, but to feel heartbroken. He held me tightly and softly asked why I hadn't told him before. What do you want to say now? I didn't say anything before because he harbored resentment towards me, since Sophia is my friend. Now, I just want to find the real murderer. Also, I want to mention that 5 years ago, on the night Ethan had a high fever, I was the one taking care of him. Ethan's body suddenly stiffened, and a tear fell into my hair. He held me tighter, as if he had found a precious item he thought was lost. That night, I always thought it was Sophia by my side. Olivia, you should have told me sooner. After my mother was buried, Ethan began to investigate what happened 5 years ago. My family's matter was suppressed at that time, and after 5 years, it's really not easy to find clues. Liam came to me and asked if I still wanted to go abroad, to leave Ethan. 5 years ago, he only knew I wanted to break up, but he didn't know what was happening at home. I didn't want to involve anyone else, so I told him that Ethan and I had reconciled. Liam was taken aback for a moment, then he started to laugh. Olivia, you must be joking, right? Didn't you say you didn't like Ethan much? Besides, Ethan is already married now. Over the years, I've really appreciated Liam. Without him, I don't know how long I could have held on. Now, he's back here lying down for me, and I feel a bit guilty inside. Liam, I'm really sorry. It was because of me that you and Ethan broke up 5 years ago. I have already told him the truth. He no longer blames you and said he would like to talk to you if he has the chance. It's okay. I understand. Liam looked at me silently for a long time, then smiled and said, it's okay, this is what I want to do. Olivia, I wish you happiness. After Liam left, I was immediately enveloped in a warm embrace. Ethan looked at Liam's back, feeling a bit unhappy. He said, Olivia, of course, you would be very happy with me. Try to see Liam less. I don't like him very much. Previously, Ethan and Liam had a good relationship, but they broke up because of me. I feel a bit guilty, and once things are resolved, I'll find a chance to get them to sit down and talk. My relationship with Ethan feels just like before. It's as if the 5 years of separation never happened. If nothing unexpected had happened in my family, we should have been living like this. Recently, I found my dad's secretary from back then and I'm planning to meet him for a chat. Just as I stepped out, I received news that Ethan had been in a car accident. A buzzing filled my ears, my mind went blank, and I felt like I was back 5 years ago when I almost got hit by a car. I was particularly anxious and was about to go over. At that moment, a fragrant scent wafted past my nose. In the end, I completely lost consciousness. I was awakened by a splash of cold water. Sophia stood in front of me, her face expressionless. Are you awake? Don't worry, I'm not here to harm you. I just want to tell you the truth. My heart started racing as I warily looked at Sophia. She first smiled, then suddenly became serious. Do you know who caused your dad's accident? It was Liam. I felt a tightness in my chest, while Sophia appeared calm and slowly spoke out. You may not know this, but Liam likes you, while you like Ethan, so Liam became friends with Ethan to get closer to you. Later, when he saw that you and Ethan weren't breaking up, he went to your dad to arrange a marriage between you two. But your dad cares about you and doesn't want to interfere in your marriage. So, Liam deliberately caused your family to go bankrupt and even made your dad jump off a building, making you think your family had offended the wrong people. He even used Ethan to threaten you, intending to make you break up so he could have a chance to intervene. Yet you still think he's helping you and are very grateful to him, which is quite ridiculous. I was shocked and trembled as I asked, Are you lying to me? Sophia looked at me sadly and replied with a smile, It's already like this. Ethan hates me, and Liam wants to target me, the one who knows the truth. Why would I need to lie to you? Olivia, Ethan had a car accident. You know that, right? I widened my eyes, and Sophia added, Don't worry, I didn't do it. I don't want to kill him. But Liam is different. He's been wanting to deal with Ethan for a long time. He's still investigating past matters and will definitely not let Ethan go. Why should I trust you? Sophia, you've already harmed me twice before. Sophia forced a smile and took out a folder. Inside are the evidence of Liam's crimes from back then. He approached me for collaboration and asked me to monitor Ethan. I accidentally saw everything, and that's when he told me the truth. Olivia, I'm being hunted by him now. It's dangerous to go out. So I want to ask for your help to ensure he gets what he deserves. I swear I won't disturb you and Ethan anymore. Just as I was about to take the document, the door was suddenly kicked open. Liam walked in like a ghost, his gaze icy. Olivia, it's really hard to find you. How could you be with Sophia? Have you forgotten what she did to you? Or do you still not know? She's the one who harmed your aunt. I felt a huge shock all at once. Sophia shouted in panic, Liam, don't say anything. I could hardly believe my eyes as I looked at Sophia. She didn't refute it, and there was a hint of guilt in her gaze. Liam smiled slightly as he tore the document to shreds. Sophia, to be honest, you've said a lot about me to Olivia, haven't you? We are even. Now, I'm taking Olivia with me. After saying that, he reached out his hand towards me. I was so frightened that I stepped back, avoiding his hand. Liam's expression darkened, and he said, Olivia, don't be ungrateful. Do you think Ethan will come to save you? He's gone, so you'd better come with me obediently. Leave me alone. I struggled, trying to resist, when suddenly a loud sound hit my face to the side. Liam's hand trembled slightly as he coldly said, truly unaware of the situation. I trembled all over, and seeing that I wasn't resisting, Liam smiled happily. Now that's more like it, obedient Olivia, we're going abroad, and we won't come back again. Just then, suddenly a screeching sound of brakes rang out. Ethan, covered in blood, stumbled out of that old car, unsteady on his feet, almost falling several times, yet always getting back up. Even so, he is still comforting me. Olivia, don't be afraid, I'm here. I cried and begged Ethan to leave, while Liam sighed in frustration. Then he covered my mouth and whispered, he can't leave, Olivia. The first person to like you was me. Why don't you even look at me and instead like that poor guy who has nothing? What does he have that's so good? Liam has always been the favored one, surrounded by everyone like the sun. How could he stand it when the girl he likes prefers someone inferior to him? From childhood, he was taught that if he likes something, he must do whatever it takes to get it. It's the same with objects, and it's the same with people. Ethan was extremely angry, wishing he could cut off Liam's hand. Don't you dare touch her with your hands. Liam scoffed and said, What right do you have to talk to me? Ethan, if it weren't for Olivia, you wouldn't even be able to touch the tip of my shoe. Brother, do you think you're worthy? Since the accident didn't take your life, I must personally deal with you. Liam took out a knife and walked straight towards Ethan. I was stunned. In that moment I rushed over. A figure flashed past me. The dagger plunged mercilessly into Sophia's chest. Just then, the sound of police sirens rang out. Liam was stunned, trying to pull the knife out to stab Ethan again, but Sophia tightly grasped his hand. He was very angry, shouting curses, and was finally restrained by the arriving police. Ethan saw that I was fine and let out a sigh of relief. "Olivia, I'm glad you're okay." Just after he spoke, he suddenly coughed up blood and collapsed heavily to the ground. "Ethan." I felt uneasy, my heart racing, as if something important was slipping away. The ambulance arrived, and Sophia and Ethan were taken to the hospital. Before entering the operating room, Sophia tightly held my hand, blood continuously flowing from her mouth. She opened her mouth and softly said, "I'm sorry, Olivia." As soon as she finished speaking, her hand fell weakly, and she closed her eyes. Meanwhile, news of Ethan's failed resuscitation came from the other side of the hallway. Ethan's accident was very serious. He suffered severe injuries, with both his liver and gallbladder ruptured, and he lost a lot of blood. He passed away shortly after being taken to the operating room. At that moment, I collapsed on the ground, tears streaming down my face uncontrollably. As for Liam, the police found backup files at Sophia's house, confirming his crimes, and he was ultimately sentenced to death. Before his execution, the police said he wanted to see me. I did not agree. I cremated Ethan and Sophia and buried them in the same place. Later, he went abroad and never came back.